Another analysis today we'll be looking at is called pushing Harry the H pawn or Harry Pawntor, like Harry Potter, but Harry Pawntor, whatever. Right, Harry the H pawn. We're talking about Harry, right? Where we get Harry the H pawn from is from Simon Williams, right? So it's really nice to talk about Harry the H pawn. So pay attention to him today. Our example game is Alexander Toulouche versus David Bronstein, legendary man. We know him back in 1944. Let's check the game, chat. Make sure you guys are answering when we say what do you think's gonna happen. That's for you to watch and try to figure out. What we have here is we talk about how to basically use this H pawn for what and why and how. How many monsters do you have in setup? I got two, bro. I got just two. So I have a third, but I only like to use the two. So here we go. D4, knight f6, c4, d6, knight c3, and then y'all ready for this? E5 immediately. Yeah. Bronstein's like, bring it, my guy. And what do you mean? Why is this crazy? Well, what happens is if pawn takes, queen takes, king takes, if you're not familiar with this position as black, you are going to get your head cracked 1000%. You're going to get smashed out here. You know what I mean? Like, and get the man off the board. And if the man's whole career says rainstorm. Yeah, you're going to be out here looking crazy, you know, if you don't know how to play this. In fact, after bishop g5, you're already like, oh, snap. You're about to castle queen side. You feel crazy. But after c6, casting queen side with check and king c7, in fact, black's literally just fine. This pawn structure is one of the strongest pawn structures with black or white. If you have white, the reverse would be a pawn on c3 and a pawn on e4. But this pawn structure is very nice. You got a pawn in the center, right? Out of 4 squares in the center, you got a pawn on 1. You got another pawn. The pawn also influences this and influences that. So literally 3 out of 4 you control, even though you don't have anything developing and you can't castle. Right, this is a very, very good understanding of like the pawn structure and stuff. And endgame, so this is fine for black, 1000%. So Bronstein knew this and plays e5 and allows this. His opponent says not today, plays e3. Knight b d7, knight f3, g6. So it kind of transposed into some type of King's Indian, right? Which he is a player of the King's Indian. He got some very, very, very strong games. I just checked out some games of him recently. Like literally today, I was looking at some games of him playing in the King's Indian. And the Finch Shadow variation in particular with the bishop on g2. Okay, b3 castles, bishop b2, and rook e8. This game is like 40 moves, so we're gonna get to that later on. Where we're gonna fly through these moves, so we're not here like 40 minutes on the analysis. So let's go through queen c2, c6. Right, this is a very nice setup to have. After you see the pawn on c6 anyway, and the pawn on e5 like he intended to do. And after castles, there's this move queen a5 is what he chose here. I do like queen a5. It does get it off the back rank. Queen c7 is a little bit more flexible too as well. But queen a5, maybe sometimes you swing the queen over to this way. Get the queen off the back rank. Maybe put a piece on d8. After queen a5, rook f to d1. And then knight goes to f8 from Bronstein here. Swinging around, trying to play this. For instance, does anyone in the chat, do any of you guys, are you familiar with or do you play the King's Indian attack? Let's get some yeses in the chat. Do you know the King's Indian attack? Are you familiar with it? Do you play it? Let's say yes if you know. And if you don't know, then you can say I don't know, or no, or don't say anything. Right. just the D. He says just the D. Okay. Yeah. King, he means KID, guys. KID. Okay, yes, all right. I don't know. I got nothing. I used to. Okay. You always beat the King's Indian attack. You played in the past. I got tired of getting mated. King's Indian attack, right? So think about this. No, I'm not. All right, so the King's Indian attack is this in reverse. I want you guys to go, literally, I want you to go and look at this position in reverse for white. If you have any positions, I even have some on the YouTube channel about King's Indian attack against the French. If you look at this position, this is the reverse of that for the black pieces. White is usually doing the same thing, right? And the setup here for white, let's say we're playing white here. Just imagine everything's white is to play h5, knight f8, knight h7, run the h pawn up, right? c6, queen to c7, usually, oh, sorry, e7. c7 is more like black lionish, but queen e7 is a more King's Indian attack style. Playing e4, the bishop goes to f5 as well. This is King's Indian attack territory. Right, but this is with the black pieces. Usually King's Indian attack is with white. So let's follow and see what Bronstein does. C6 castles, Queen A5, Rook after D8, Knight F8. What is he doing? Doing the same thing you would do if you was playing the King's Indian attack. Why? Because he's following a plan, patterns. These are things that make you a great chess player, is understanding the plan. What is the pawn structure saying? Oh, this looks like a King's Indian attack. Oh, let me do the exact thing. Knight F8, A3, and then he goes E4. Which literally, in a way, this is insane. This is like a reverse French because of the structure. So this is like now, I mean, this is just mind blown. Let me get the mind blown emotes in the chat. I just realized this now in the analysis that we're doing right now, because I already looked at this game. But I just realized that this is now a reverse French, which the King's Indian attack is one of the greatest things to use against the French. Wow. So in a way, black already has a very nice antidote to the French here. To the French. Babe, thanks for the follow. And thanks for the follow. Astro, yeah, Cardiac, what's up, bro? Come on, Elevation, Cardiac, I see y'all, right? E4, this right here is a reverse French, which means if I'm playing with the white pieces and I'm playing the King's Indian attack, my position would look like this, and I would be doing this move to black. Right, but it's in reverse. It's literally in reverse. Knight to D2, another King's Indian move here, or King's Indian attack move. The pawn is attacked on E4, so this is on you, chat. This is now your turn. What would you do in this position? And we're going to fly through some more moves, but what do you do in this position? Just straight up King's Indian attack territory if you're familiar with the plans. If not, you'll get to learn it, where you can play this for black or white. Doesn't matter. Jackson's Sucks says, Bishop to F5, push D5 from elevation. I don't know, says Jackson. What's up, Ice Cream Emperor? What's the deal? Block him in. Says elevation. Block him and block him. So he's talking about like a D5. H5 from Quantum. H5. He's like, go for it. Push old Harry. H5 from a Red Hot Mama. 2 for H5. They say H5. Old Harry. Yeah. Big Harry over here. Big fella Harry. H5. That is a move. In fact, it's Bishop F5. Simple move. Bishop F5. Defend it. E4. You just defend the pawn because it is attacked. So you defend it. D5 is a move too as well, but he chose the Bishop F5 move. And what happens here is this is still King's Indian attack territory. B4, Queen retreats to C7. This is why the Queen is not best placed there, because he kind of got a tempo there. White goes Knight to F1, kind of anticipating something's about to happen over here. Then Black plays D5 now. D5 here, and then after takes, here, hold on, let me do the okay, after takes, and then Queen B3, Rook E to D8, and then let me try to come on over here. Okay, nice. Bishop G5. The Bishop G5. Where's Bishop G5 at? So Bishop G5. Wait, where is this Bishop G5 move? I'm seeing Bishop G5. That's another analysis. Okay, so Queen B3, Rook E to D8, defending the pawn. Rook D to C1, Queen D7, stepping out the way. Have a nice day. A4, H5, A5, H4. Okay. I was trying to see. This felt a little different over here. This is actually same plans you would do in the French. So let's go back here. Actually, after defending the pawn, obviously, Rook goes here, hits the Queen, right? Obvious ideas, Knight takes D5. After Knight takes D5, Queen moves, right? You want to understand what's going on. You want to understand what's going on. After the Queen moves to E7, pawn to A4, and now, here we go. Now let's get some excitement behind the move. This is where we're talking about Harry the H pawn, right? Right here, H5. H5. Okay. This is good. This is good. This is very good. This is very good, right? So we have a Harry the H pawn, right? So we're going to push this boy down. So why do we push this pawn? Let's get some people in the chat to explain this to us. Why are we moving the H pawn? Out of all the moves, what are we trying to do? Now, I did briefly say it in the beginning, if you are paying attention, or if you were. But let's say you forgot. Let's say you're just getting this. Let's say you're just watching this. Why are we pushing the H5? The H pawn at all? Kingside attack time. Kingside attack time. NBC Olympics was good. What up? What's up, bus driver? What's on your Christmas wish list? Good question. A raid from Naroditsky. Oh, yeah. It looks like I got that, right? It was just saying what was on my Christmas wish list. And I was like, a raid from Naroditsky would be nice. And it happened right on the spot. Right on the spot. Literally right on the spot as we were talking about this game right here in analysis. Thanks. What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Thanks for the raid. Big Naroditsky. All right, guys. So we right here in this position, and we talking about H5. So you're here in the middle of analysis. Welcome. You guys can follow. So we're going to do this analysis. We're in the middle of it right now. So let us continue here. You guys in the chat, while you're following, thank you so much. Right. But let's get back to this analysis because we're here to learn right now. So here we go. Right. All right. H5 was the last move played in this position. We talking about Y of the H pawn. Why? The why behind it. What does this move actually do? After H5, why are we playing this in any sense at all? Why? What does it do? Why are we doing it? Why are we doing it? Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. I'm not sure. That's a great one. That's a great one. Nice. H5. That's right. That's the H5 stuff that we see all the time. That's Naroditsky's, right? Yeah, that's Naroditsky's H5. Look at that. I mean, first off, Naroditsky has an H5 emote. So don't forget about that. That's number one. Right. That's number one. All right. So can we play Bishop G4? Bishop G4 is an idea. King H7 becomes free. Very nice tide. Very nice. Long pressure on G3 and H3. Very nice. H4 from GP, but why H4 though? Quantum Knights, exactly. H4, but why? Let us pawn storm. Force white to create weaknesses. Very nice. Yes. Yes. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. 100%. That's right. That's right. Correct. Correct. So now after H5, A5, right? And after A5 happens, so H5 is only good because the knight is on F1. And no, H5 would be good rather the knight's on F1 or not. Even if the knight's on D2, it doesn't matter. You're still going to play H5 and you're going to follow again what we talked about with the King's Indian attack, right? King's Indian attack, H4, H5, right? You bring the knight around, you play knight G7 or knight H7 to G5. You sometimes bring the bishop up, the queen comes in, you go for mate. It's a King's Indian attack, but with the black pieces, it's different. But it's with the black pieces. King's Indian attack. Right, this is not the defense. This is different, a little bit different, especially based off the move order. So, okay, after A5, we play H4. So, literally, let's go back a few moves. Right, let's go back a few moves here. Okay, and then let's go here. Oh yeah. We just keep it like that. Whatever. Like we've been doing this forever. A4, H5, and then A5, and then he plays H4. Right, H4, Bishop A3, hitting B4. He's about to push this, obviously. B5 is coming. Right, okay. So he plays H3. Anyway, don't care about the B5. And then G3 happens. And now there's holes around the king. The H-pawn went from H7 to H5 to H4 to H3 to create the weaknesses around the king. Then now the light-squared bishop defends these squares. So what do you think is the next plan? Plan number one's done. We made the weaknesses, H-pawn, accomplished, done. What do we do next? What is the next plan of action here? Steve Kerr, that's a nice name. Thanks for the follow. Steve Kerr, I'm mostly a Roy player. So KID and KIA are very interesting openings to me. Very nice. I was mostly a Roy player too for a very long time, in fact. For a very long time. Yeah, let me actually move my camera for you, bro. Here a little bit. Yeah, but it's yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I was playing a Roy a long time. KID, KIA are very nice as well. I love both of them. I feel like when I play KID, my rooks never get locked into attack. You got to be careful. Land our light square bishop to G4, force the trade. Thanks for the follow, Ebro. Bishop G4, Queen E6. Very nice from Roku Sleep. Queen E6, get rid of the defender, says Iran. Right, the bishop on E2 is very annoying. This is what's defending. Right, this is what's defending the light squares. But we still need to, this is still like, we got to move this knight around. So what he does is he brings the knight around. Right, he brings the knight around. And then the knight goes to D2 to get out of here. Obviously, we still have knight G5, bishop G4 coming. Knight g5. Look, guys, I'm telling you right now, this man took everything out of the book of King's Indian attack. He took everything out of the book in the King's Indian attack. Anything and everything, if you've not, I highly recommend that you guys go check out the white version, looking at the white pieces, looking at the, like, literally looking at any games that you can, Bobby Fischer, or YouTube video, King's Indian attack. We got some here on the channel as well, YouTube. King's Indian attack. This is the same thing you do. So it's very nice. He didn't really even have to think about this. As plan-wise, b5, hitting the queen, obviously we gonna move it up. Queen e6, knight a4 happens. Why? Because we're going to c5. Plans are very simple. I crush you over here. Black mates you over here. Very, very easy. Very simple. Okay, knight a4. Thanks for the follows, guys. Knight a4, bishop goes to g4. We finally getting what we want, right? Get them boys traded off. And then he goes queen d1, which is a little bit different. Queen d1. Queen d1, bro. He went queen to d1. Queen d1. You would think he'd probably go bishop f1. But he went queen d1. Totally fine. Whatever. Queen goes into f5 at this point. Bishop moves up to f7. Sorry, bishop g4, queen d1. And queen f5. Bishop to e7, hitting the knight, hitting the rook. We take on e2. He takes back. Rook d to c8. Right. So we've made some holes around the king. I think this is the biggest part of the King's Indian attack right here. This is the hardest part. You can get all this and not mate. This is probably the absolute hardest part. What up, Gideon Ghost? Thanks for the follow-up. It's probably the hardest part when this happens here. Rook d to c8. Because I can't mate him. Knight f3, he's going to take. I take back. Fighting for the open file. Rook c8. Nice move. Yeah, Danny. He's just going to play rook c8. And you fight for the file, obviously. Bishop takes f6. Bishop takes f6. And knight to c5. So now this feels kind of scary, right? If he gets this going and you don't mate, then white's going to be better, obviously. So he plays b6. We trade. We're trying to trade, obviously. So he takes that, take. Trade everything off, knight a6 for knight c7. Trade off b6. Pretty hard game for black here. Pretty hard game for black. Right. What's the worst place piece? The bishop. The bishop right now is the worst place piece. So you see bishop to e7 happen. And this one's a grind from here. This one's a grind. King f8. All right, guys. Let's see if you can find anything here. This is not easy. Now, black's winning. Black's better. But what do you actually do in this position? This is not a fun one. This one's more of a grind. But strategically, we use the h-pawn here to create holes inside of the position to now try to play on maybe both sides of the board. There's black to move. So what are some options? What are we thinking? What do we have here, chat? As we put the lens on to you. Thanks for the follow. Bishop a3 hitting the rook. Okay, so you're attacking the rook. Bishop b4. Okay, blocking with his whole face there. 100% face blockage with the bishop to b4. Knight f3. Queen to d7. He says, no, I take that back. Oh, no. You already got hit with the button. Sir, it's fine. You'll be right. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Rook c8. Okay, bishop d6. Knight c7. Knight f3. Okay, so just going in there. Knight f3, bishop d6. And lots of ideas. With bishop takes g3 and h2. Ooh. We'll push the... Oh, man. Look at the ideas from Elevation. Elevation. Yeah, 100% face blockage, right? Yeah, he's talking about something like this. Bishop d6, rook a1, and then hit him. But that's going to not work, right? And then h2, and you actually looking crazy after king g2. It don't actually work. Check, and then I actually hide. I tuck and roll with the king. Something crazy. Literally something crazy. Literally something crazy. Playing the same opening every time? Absolutely. Mr. Sion? Yes. Correct. Okay, let's go back. So, but that didn't happen. Yeah, that didn't happen at all, in fact. Bishop b7. Okay, king f1. He went rook c8. Rook c8 was the move here. So this was just challenging the file. This rook wasn't doing anything on the file anymore. So after queen d1, we do have a trade. Trade them boys off. King went to g7, right? And then queen c7, attacking the bishop. Bishop goes back to f6 and knight b4. If you look at this position, Black is still a little bit better, right? We got the squares over here. King's kind of loose. The only thing holding this king safety is this knight. But white could queen. It's a little bit scary. A little bit scary for both sides. Knight f3 now. You're right on time. Love the interactive style. Great content. Thanks, Omega. You are very right, Jackson. You're very right. Big fella, you're right on it. Knight f3. GP says knight f3 now. Oh, everybody like knight f3. Chat. Okay. Okay, Chad. Knight f3 hitting everything, right? Hitting everything. Going there now. The queen's a little bit too far away from home, and it's basically go for it now time. Because, like, white's going to queen. White's going to queen. After rook trade, what about knight f3 is right there. There you see Sludge Master. Thanks for the follow. He's like, yeah, I lagged. I'm like, yeah, Chess Ninja, because we said that like 20 seconds ago. He came in. Yo, oh, what about knight f3 now when knight f3 is on the board? What about knight f3 now, bro? Oh, I lagged. You know, you give up. Queen takes king e1. And after king to e1, what happens here? There's only one move, guys, that is winning. Any other move here is a draw. Any other move here is a draw. If you find it, you win. If you don't find it, you're 100% premium Cambodian natural. Garbage. One time for the people in the back. Garbage. You need to find it. There's only one that wins. What black to move? Okay, what do we have? We have queen g2, queen h1, queen g1 check. Okay, so elevation, I'm going to get this to you right now. Here you go. Garbage. One more time. Garbage. He said queen g1 check. He said queen g1. And you know, earlier he came in the chat too with the, yo, I'm 1740. New high, dog. New high. Bruh. New high, bro. Queen g1, guys. Queen g1. Queen h1, queen g2s. Bishop takes d4. Okay, we got some bishop takes d4s on the board. Wow. A lot of people like bishop takes d4. A lot of people like bishop d4. Wow, clap it up for the bishop d4s, man. Ah, bishop d4. 100% garbage, not a move. That's a draw too as well. Don't work. Find another move. Sorry, doesn't work. Garbage. Yep, that's the second time. He takes d4, don't work. Doesn't work. I just take it. And for your next trick, young lad, you don't have anything. Thank you very much. Get this off the board. This is gross. So it doesn't work. The only move that works here, let's go through the other moves. Queen g2 doesn't work. Right, if you thought queen g2 because the knight takes d5, you're like, oh, let me just take or check. Like, you might, if you're gonna check now, you should have already checked. Like, it doesn't make sense to check him now. So you just take on h2 to try to queen, but luckily I get out of it. Knight takes f6. If you take on f6, wow, are you serious? On national television, right? So you know that can't even happen. You can't even take it back. So you have to play like check or something. Not even there. Let's go g1. Move the king out the way. You trying to queen. But luckily, right, this is a crazy line right now, bro. Like, this stuff is nuts. What's the move here? I think push, right? But there's like 98s. And weirdly enough, we're able to mate in all lines. Like, there's all lines. There's mates. All lines here, bro. And this is only like... This is so hard to find, obviously, but the analysis here is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Where queen g2, the matter of a move like queen g2 doesn't work. But queen h1 does because you're a tempo faster. Queen h1. And actually, the game ends right here. There was a resi, a hard resi, meaning resignation. The game was over after queen h1. But let's see what happens. After queen h1, king to e2. Right, and how do you finish this, chat? How would you finish it now? After queen e2, or king e2, how do we finish the game here? How do we finish it now? I scream like, bro, I called it. I'm a master now. I called it. Meow, thanks. Queen takes h2, queen takes h2, queen e1. A firm handshake. Rivka, thanks for the follow. Queen takes h2 is correct, chat. Very nice, very nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. So now let's see what happens on that same line. Remember, we looked at this, right? You move the queen out the way anywhere, it doesn't really matter. Actually, queen g1 somehow draws. I forgot why though. But queen g2 and then knight takes f6. Again, we don't have to take this, but at least now we have a check. Look at that, little in between, just and jug. Right, nice. And then king moves somewhere, and then we push those. We can even take first if you want to get a little bit, you know, super accurate there. Right, much better, much better. Something goes like this. You can even take here if you want to get a little nifty there, just because I want everything there. They call me little just and jug. Imagine that. Yeah, they call me little just and jug. Album drops in May. Like, stop it, right? Oh man, the in between. The in-betweens, in between the block. Stop. Queen takes f6. Looks funny. Oh man. Y'all too much. Queen f4 though? Queen f4 where? Oh, right here. Oh wow. Garbage. 1000%. Queen takes here. There's the most. What's up, Canty? What's up, McNulty? Yeah. But the game was over after Queen h1. Crazy game, right? Crazy game. Not now, of course, the rest of this was, I mean, this is going to be different for everyone, right? This is going to be always different. Yeah, you're right. This is going to be different for everyone. But the key point you want to take away from today's game is this h pawn. Look at the use of the h pawn. Check it again, right? The use of the h pawn here is very simple. He played h5, right? And then after h5, he played h4, and then he played h3. All these h pawn moves to create a weakness here. Well, he was now able to create the weakness. What defends the weakness? The bishop does. Okay, cool. So let's get rid of the bishop, right? Working backwards. We want to get in here. What defends this? The bishop does. Cool, let's get rid of it. So he goes, he makes a few moves. We get rid of it. Over time, we get rid of it. So these are much weaker. He has to stay over here. Then we work this side of the board, right? Strategic, clinical. Work this side of the board. After we work this side of the board, then eventually we'll be able to come back to the weakness we created way long ago because of the h pawn. Jeez, and that's another one. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube.